Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would do a video today. It's a pretty gloomy day here in Melbourne, Australia. It's quite dark for almost midday. Is it midday yet? Almost midday. Sorry, I was looking at the clock. Today I thought I would discuss a hard topic which a lot of mums don't either talk about or they've experienced. So I'm going to talk about postnatal depression today. So for me, I had postnatal depression with both my children. So they were very different from one another. So when I had my son, I already knew I was going to get postnatal depression because my mum had postnatal depression with me, and it was pretty inevitable that I was going to get it, especially because I have anxiety and depression already. I really did not know what to expect being a first-time mum. My mum passed away 12 years ago, and I didn't have any support from family or friends. It was just pretty much me and my partner, and that was it. And of course, he doesn't know what postnatal depression is like. In fact, he didn't really know anything at all, to be honest, and wasn't very helpful at the time either. Completely did not understand what I was going through and how I felt. It was very frustrating because I had this newborn child who is absolutely a beautiful baby and still is such a gorgeous boy, and I'm a very proud mum. But I didn't know what was it that was going to make me feel the way I felt, or what was going to get me to the point where I realized that I actually needed help. So the first month I was okay. I mean, I was like normal tired mother, working out for bottle feeds and things like that, but because everything was new, I didn't really think much about anything apart from the fact that I just wanted to make sure my son was okay and he was getting everything that he needed. So the first thing that kind of tipped me off was the fact that I actually ran out of milk pretty quickly. My son started losing a lot of weight. The midwives were coming to my house and giving me all different sorts of information about how to breastfeed. One midwife would say, "Oh no, you're doing this wrong." The next midwife would say, "No, that's wrong." The next one would say something else, and it was driving me cuckoo. All I wanted was my son to drink his milk and put on weight. I was just very, very concerned. The head midwife came out after 4 weeks of me trying to get my son to feed, and she was incredibly rude to me. She made me feel like I was absolutely worthless and that I couldn't produce any milk. So for me, it was like, yeah, I was pretty depressed after that. You know, she kept forcing me to feed my son, and yeah, I couldn't get any milk. So in the end, I made the decision to go out and buy some formula and put my son on formula, which she didn't like because obviously, you know, breast milk is natural, it's better for you, but I had no milk. So frustrating. So she had a few words with me, and that day after she left, I pretty much broke down and started crying because, I mean, you know, I was given breasts as a woman and they had one job to do and one job they weren't doing. So that automatically kind of was the starting point. Then because my son was born 1 month premature, I started thinking stupid things like, oh, you know, what happens if he dies? What happens if, you know, cot death? I'm just trying to think of all the things that I was thinking about at the time. Pretty much everything went through my mind. I was constantly checking on his breathing. I became very OCD in the way I cleaned him. Even if there was a tiny bit of dirt in him, I would be OCD cleaning, which isn't a bad thing anyway. I mean, you want your baby to be clean, but I think I was just like a little bit overboard. You know, I think it was to the point where I was just like, okay, need to chill, but I couldn't switch my mind off. So then after that, I was staying up every night just watching him. I wasn't sleeping whatsoever. I would just sit there and watch him breathe, and it would get to the point where I was probably having maybe 2 or 3 hours sleep a night. I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking much apart from coffee. I was probably having 6 cups of coffee a day, which in essence probably wasn't really good for my anxiety. But I couldn't really stomach much food. Ate a lot of weight. I was like super skinny. I wish I was that now. No, I don't actually wish I was that skinny. I was probably about 55 kilos. I'm supposed to be about 65 to 70 kilos. That's for my height. So I was very underweight. I was exhausted. So probably 2 months after I had my son, then I got a really bad kidney infection. So I went to the hospital and they gave me x-rays, not x-rays, sorry. I had a, what's it called? An ultrasound on my kidneys just to make sure there's no kidney stones. And then they gave me, what's it called? Antibiotics. But I probably had to go through 3 courses for it to actually work. They reckon I probably got it from the catheter from when I had the epidural. So that wasn't fun. And the antibiotics made me feel really tired, nauseated, just horrible. So by then, probably by the 3rd to 4th month after having Logan, I started to think about death constantly. I couldn't get the thought out of my head. It was just on repeat. It's just like, you know how someone like rewinds a tape and then presses play and plays it again and then rewinds it. It was like that in my head over and over and over and over again. I just couldn't shake this thought out of my head. And a lot of it came from obviously my mum's death, because my mum died at 57. And I was thinking, like, what happens to my son? Who's going to look after him? What's going to happen in the future? I started thinking, like, what's going to happen to me? Because I wasn't feeling well and I'd lost a lot of weight, I started thinking about, oh my God, maybe I'm going to die. So every couple of hours, I was lost thinking, am I going to die? Am I going to die? Am I going to die? That was it. That was the only thought that was in my head. And apart from the fact that I had to feed and change my son, nothing else I could think about. I knew there was a problem, because I'd be lying awake at night time, listening to my heart racing. I started getting really bad anxiety attacks. I was probably having about 3 or 4 anxiety attacks a day. I knew this wasn't right. So I went to the doctors, and the doctor automatically, straight away, antidepressants. I actually refused to take them. A couple more months went by, things weren't getting better, and went back to the doctors and then said, look, you should try the antidepressants. I'm like, okay, let's do this. So they put me on Cipramil. So I started taking Cipramil, and of course with any medication it takes 6 weeks for it to enter into your body for it to work. Oh my goodness. The doctor doesn't tell you this when they give you antidepressants. They don't tell you the side effects. They just happily give you a script and off you go. So this particular medication, it worked for a while, but I was having side effects. I was getting bruises on my body. I was constantly cold all the time. I had no appetite, which is probably still part of the depression anyway. What else was happening? I was having night sweats, really like strange dreams, like really strange dreams. The night sweats were really bad. I was waking up like soaked. So this went on for 6 weeks. I persisted. Most people don't persist. Most people give up after the first week, but I'm like, I want to really give this a real good red hot go, because I want to be the best mum I can be for my son. So after 6 weeks, I finally got a bit better, and everything was okay for about probably 5 months. And then one day I just had this massive panic attack. And I never had one like this in my life. I was absolutely shit scared. I actually thought that was it. I thought I was actually going to die. I couldn't actually breathe at all. It felt like my neck and my throat, just like, well, not my throat, my neck, but my throat was closing in. This panic attack probably lasted 3 hours. It was long. It was long and exhausting. I was so tired. And the doctor started giving me Valium, which in essence helped at the time. But really all it did was just knock me out and make me sleep, which is really not that great when you have a newborn child and they need you. But I needed to function. I needed to do what I had to do. And plus I was working at the time too. So I was doing party plan. I was doing 5 or 6 parties a week. I don't even know how I did that, to be honest. I look back now and I think my God, was I like running on adrenaline, or was it the drugs? I don't know. So the thought of the dying thing kind of went away for a bit, for probably a good 5 or 6 months. And then when I had that panic attack, of course, all these thoughts started coming back again. Great. So I was taking the Valium on top of my Cipramil, but after probably 8 or 9 months, the Cipramil was actually making me feel suicidal. It was making me feel like I just wanted to kill myself. I felt like I was going crazy. I was just like not in a good place at all. The only thing that was kind of helping it was the Valium, but then the Valium wasn't making me feel good either. And I was kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? When I think about it, it's actually exhausting. So they gave me Cipramil and then they gave me something else. Or was it Cipramil and Valium? I think it was just Cipramil and Valium I was taking. Anyway, I kept going back to the doctors and I'm like, look, is there anything that you can do to change my medication? And they're like, no, you need to stay on what you're on. If you want to, you can go to the hospital and you can stay in the hospital and they can take care of you. I didn't want to go to hospital because I knew the minute I went in there, I wouldn't be able to come out for ages. So I said no. So from that point on, I then found out 18 months later that we're going. So from the time my son was born to 18 months, I got pregnant with my daughter. And they told me I had to come off my antidepressants. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry to swear, but I was like, oh, this is not happening. So I started coming off the medication. Oh my God, that was like a very bad idea. So I went back to the doctor, but I saw another doctor that was in that clinic. And he said, why did they take you off that medication? You can still take that medication. So I'm like, okay. So he rang the hospital to make sure I could have that medication while I was pregnant. Thank the Lord for that, because I think I would have lost my shit again. So for those 3 months, that was hell. 6 weeks on, 6 weeks on. That period of time was not good at all. Anyway, so kind of settled down. My pregnancy with my daughter was rough in terms of the fact that I was vomiting, but I seemed to be okay mentally. I wasn't too bad. I wasn't that as crazy as what I was feeling. Was it the hormones? Probably. But everything seemed to be okay. And then, of course, 9 months later, she was born. So as you do, you bring your child home from the hospital. I don't know, everything seemed to be fine. Everyone was like, you seem to be doing really well. You know, you're more relaxed with this baby. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, that's good. You know, I'm getting good feedback that, you know, obviously I'm doing well. I think it was 2 weeks after I had my daughter, I went straight back to party plan again. And I still remember it was 2 weeks after I had her, I actually went to a meeting at our head office for a jewelry release it was. And pretty much after that, I was pretty much back doing parties again. Except this time, my personality was different. It was more of the stress of making money for 2 kids. Like I said, my partner was not working still. So the pressure was on me to make the money. And I was really pushing myself, like really, really pushing myself. I started noticing changes in myself, like I was very angry, very short-tempered. And also as well was like I was very different with my daughter. I was holding her more and a little bit more possessive of her than what I was with my son. Like I'd let people hold my son, but with Eve it was a little bit different. So I pushed myself and pushed myself, and then so it was probably 8 months after I had her, that's when I had my nervous breakdown. I pretty much just wanted to die. That was pretty much it. I didn't want to be alive for my kids. I didn't want to be alive for anybody. I didn't give a shit. All I wanted to do was just not be here. So for those watching this, I'm very honest in the way that I speak, and I'm very much realistic in what's happened to me. I don't sugarcoat the situation. I don't hide the situation. I'm not embarrassed of the situation either, to be honest with you. And I actually think my nervous breakdown was probably the best thing that happened to me, because it changed the person I was. It made me more calm, more patient, more understanding. It made me more grateful. It made me actually glad to be alive, considering the fact that I was at the total opposite end. I changed doctors because my doctor would not let me stop taking Valium. Every time I went there, I'm like, look, can you please change my medication? Can I come off Valium? She's like, no, there's nothing else we can give you. Had enough. So I changed doctors, and immediately that day, they said, you have been on Valium for way too long. I was on Valium for 3.5 years. They said, it's time for you to come off that and we'll change your medication. So we did that. And coming off the Valium was also horrible too. That was three to 4 months of just hell, of it leaving my system basically. I had excess saliva. I was feeling like vomiting. My stomach was burning. I had acid reflux. I was shivering and shaking. My heart was racing. Pretty much everything that you probably have when you're coming off a drug. However, the new medication they put me on, which is Lovin and Seroquel, and touch wood, I've been on that now for, I think, 2.5 years, has been wonderful. The Lovin keeps me calm during the day, and then the Seroquel helps me sleep at night, because if I don't have Seroquel, I'll be awake all night, just thinking. So thankfully they both help me. The only side effects that I really don't like is Seroquel is that I've gained weight, and I get hungry in the evening. So during the day I'm not hungry at all, really. Like I don't eat much during the day, but at night time I'm starving. So it's like a catch-22. So I have gained weight. I've probably put on 15 kilos. Considering I was 55 kilos, I'm now 80 kilos. It's probably more than 15 kilos I've put on, but my maths is way off. But I'm a lot healthier and a lot happier. I still have the depression. I don't have my kids in my care because I struggle to do it on my own, and when I do have them, my anxiety it skyrockets. I don't know why that happens, because I do love my children a lot, but it's just this fear that I have that I'm not a good enough mother, that I'm not doing a good job, that I could be doing better than what I'm doing. I really put a lot of pressure on myself to be a certain way, but I'm starting to learn that I can do the best that I can do with what I have. I still don't have much support. I do have my dad, thank God, but I don't have any support otherwise. It's just me and my brain having to think positively constantly. Spirituality has really helped me. It's really helped me center myself and believe that everything is going to be okay, and that I meditate and make sure that I'm trying to keep myself grounded as possible. Excuse the fact that's my dog. She must appear in every video. I'll show you her one day. Yeah, so it's just been like an uphill battle. It's a struggle every day. Like today I'm feeling a bit down, maybe because it's the weather as well. We've got Mercury retrograde coming up, and I'm like, great, not looking forward to that. I've been really tired the last couple of days. I started back on Zumba on Wednesday, and my body is just aching. And when I say aching, I mean aching. I hadn't been for 3 months, and that's because I haven't been motivated for 3 months to do any form of exercise since coronavirus hit. But I'm actually glad that I'm back. So I think what happened was on Wednesday when I did my class, I was full of energy and I was really happy, and then I crashed. And this is what happens when I crash. I just tired. All I want to do is sleep. I'm constantly yawning, waiting till like at least 3-4 o'clock to have a nap in the afternoon. It's a really hard struggle. And a lot of mums probably do go through this but don't talk about it, or they're not told about it. I was lucky with my daughter that when I got pregnant with her, the hospital let me see the psychologist there. That really helped throughout the pregnancy too, because it gave me something to talk about and to discuss about my options of what happens if I do get postnatal depression again. I also used Panda, which is a postnatal depression line, and I was calling them when I couldn't see my psychologist, and they were amazing. So anyone here in Australia that's watching this, please contact Panda. They are like the best. They were ringing me like nearly every day to see if I was okay and reassuring me that I was going to be okay. They were really helpful. Sometimes now I call Beyond Blue when I'm feeling really down, but thankfully I haven't done that in a while, so that's really good. But there are resources out there for postnatal depression. Please use them, because they are the best thing that is out there. There are so many resources out there that I don't think people are actually using them, or they're ashamed to use them. But I highly recommend them. That's what helped me get through both my pregnancies. Actually, I did use them for my son as well. So yeah, that's really good. And just keep in touch with your doctor too, and make sure you get a good doctor, because the doctor I had, I don't think she was good, to be honest. And when I changed doctors, that's when everything changed for me. So make sure that you are persistent and that you do speak up for yourself, and don't let them have you on medication that's not right for you. If you feel like it's not right, then it's not right. You need to listen to your body, and you need to voice that to them. Otherwise, they just will keep you on the same medication. And I wasn't strong enough to actually say, hey, no, I don't want this anymore, until I had enough. So please do that. So if anyone has any questions on postnatal depression and wants to talk about it, please comment below. I'm more than happy to help you out. And I hope this video has been helpful to some people, and that what I experience is what you're going through, and that you're not alone. So like I said, I hope this does help you. My videos are not here to be life-changing, but it is to discuss these topics that are hard to talk about. So I hope to see you in my next video, and I'll catch you all guys later. See ya.